Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Shloka Tech. In today's live stream, we are going to make this amazing budget app all using React.js, Firebase and local storage. So we are also going to deploy this app to Firebase. Now inside this, first I have this amazing header, then I have this typing effect, then I have a contact form, and if I submit this contact form, I will get a email on my mail address. I can then also sign in. This sign in functionality is made using Firebase. So if I am using Firebase, that's why if I, let's say, enter anything here and sign in, it says the email address is badly formatted. And if I enter a valid email but a wrong password, then this is the password is invalid. Now this is the correct password and I can sign in. After that, this is the I get my email address. This is the home. Then now you can see in the header has changed. I get the app also. Inside app, I get this budget app, then total expense. Inside name of the expense, I can add the name. So let's say shopping. Then amount, I can change it to 50 rupees. And then when I add, you can see you get it there. And if I go to application and then local storage here, you can see I get expenses. If I delete, then I can delete. I can also sign out. And if I am signed out and I try to access the app, then it says please sign in to get access to this page. Now I am using Bootstrap as a front end. And to add this contact form functionality, I am using email.js. And inside message, let's say demo message. And when I click on submit, I open my mailbox. You can see I get this email saying name Shlokjan, email demo@gmail.com, subject I am not added it here but I can, and message a demo message. So first let's go to our terminal, cd into desktop, and you can create a blank React template. I have already done it. So I am going to use VS Code as my code editor here. So what you can do is simply do npm start. So this is starting. Let's wait for this to start. Now you can see we have got this React spinning logo. So first what I am going to do is delete the source folder, then make a one more folder, again call it source. Then same with public, but what I am going to do is delete everything inside public except the index.html. And inside index.html, simply delete all of these comments which you don't need. I don't need this all. And then the title, I am going to call that budget app. After that, what I am also going to do is I am going to make you available the source code of this build. It is already there in the description. So inside the public folder HTML, I get this bootstrap CDN which I am going to use for bootstrap. After that, I can close this, go to source, create a new file, call it index.js. After that, inside this, I am going to say import React from React. Then I am going to do import render from React DOM. After that, I am going to import the app component also. So import app from app. And then I am going to import the index.css. After that, I can use this render from React DOM. So render, I want to render the app component to document dot get element by id root. After that, after you have made this, you can close this and make a new file named app.js. And inside app.js, what we have to do is simply add the basic RFCEE snippets inside this. And what I am going to first do is import use effect also because we will be needing that. And then I am going to first close the server and install some dependencies. So first one is React Router DOM. For routing, we are going to use that. So npm I React Router DOM. Then I am going to use React Strap. After that, I am also going to use this typewriter effect. So I can do type writer effect. And then we are also going to use Firebase. So I can do Firebase. Then we are also going to use email.js-com. So right now let's install. Sorry, we did the type error here. Here where it says effect. After that we have to add a gap. Now let us wait for it to install the dependencies. Till the time it is installing, let's go to Firebase and set up this app. So we can go to console.firebase.google.com. Make sure you have a Gmail account. So it is opening. Now simply click on add a project. Inside this I am going to name it budget app YT, which is YouTube. I don't want Google Analytics, so then I am creating a project. So this is happening, and here also it is installing the dependencies. Then you can go to emailjs.com, and here simply click on sign in. You can sign in through your email address, and inside email services you can click on add new service and select Gmail. After that, go to email templates and click on create new template. Leave all the things by default and simply delete everything inside the content, and simply add three brackets and simply type here. You can do something like name, then name. After that, this will be email, and then I get message, which is going to be the message. After you have done that, in the subject you can say new message from email. You can do something like that, and when you click on save, it will save that email template. After saving, you can simply Go to VS Code. You can see it has installed the dependencies. Now you can do npm start, and inside the app component, what I am going to do is first import the React router DOM. So I can say import browser router as a I need a router, I need a switch, I need a route, and I want to import them from React router DOM. After that, I am also going to import typewriter. So import typewriter from typewriter effect. Now it is giving an error saying that index.css is not there. So I can create a index.css. I can preset the CSS by simply giving margin 0. Okay. After that, I can go ahead and simply do a return, and inside return I am going to first render a router. So simply say router. Inside this I am going to make a div with a class name of app. Then I am going to add a switch. So I can do a switch, and now I am going to add some routes. So the first one I am going to do route path is /login, and it's going to render the login component. After that, I can make a duplicate and call it router path app, which is the main component. Right now, I don't have any of these components, so let's just hard code them like that. So I am going to do the header, and I am going to do some conditional rendering here. So right now, let's leave that. After that, the home page. Inside this, I want the header and the home. So these are going to be our routes we need. After that, what I am going to do is go here. Inside this, it says header and home. If I go to login, it says login. If I go to app, it says only the header. And let me also do app. So now that's what we needed. After that, what I'm going to do is first set up the user. Before that, go to Firebase, click on continue here. Inside this, click on this web icon and name this app budget app YT. Also set up Firebase hosting. Make sure to tick that. Register app. So now this will load, and now this has gone. Now simply click on next. We don't need these. And I have already done it. You can also do it. So I will click on next and then continue. Open another terminal window, and inside this you can paste that code npm install globally Firebase tools. Make sure to add sudo before them if you are using Linux or Mac OS. Enter your password. Okay, till the time that's happening, go to project settings and go to the last, click on config and copy all of this you are getting here. After that, inside source, make a new file, call it that's firebase.js. Paste the code that you copied, and inside firebase.js, simply import Firebase from Firebase. So let me just Firebase from Firebase. Then simply do const Firebase app is equal to Firebase dot initialize app Firebase config After that, simply do const auth is equal to firebase dot auth. After that, simply do export auth. Sorry, I am going to destructure. Now, this is enough for the Firebase. After that, what I'm going to do is first work on the Redux for the user. So I am going to make two files. One is the reducer.js and one is the state provider.js. So first let's start with the reducer. Okay, so I get the reducer.js. Sorry, this is a .js. Inside reducer, simply type export con initial state. Okay, export con initial state, and inside this, simply say that initially the user is null. After that, I am going to export the reducer. So const reducer is equal to, I get the state and the action. After that, I am using the arrow function. So let me also export it. Export default reducer. And inside this reducer function, first what I am going to do is console log the action. Then I am going to use the switch statement. So switch action dot type. Then I am going to do case of set user. Sorry, case set user return dot state, and then the user is going to be the action dot user. After that, the default one return the state, and this one is enough for the reducer. Now I am going to create the state provider.js. State provider.js, and inside state provider, what I am going to do is import a lot of things from React. So I want create context. I want, sorry, this is use context. Then I also want use reducer. And let me also import React also. After that, I am going to export const state context. This is equal to create context. Then export const state provider, which is the, let me use the this only RFC. I want to export default const or export const state provider, and make sure to use these brackets parentheses because we are returning that. Now inside this I am going to get some props. So the props I am going to get is reducer, initial state, and the children. After that, I am going to render the state context dot provider here, and inside this render all the children we are getting, and to the state context dot provider I am going to pass a value saying use reducer, and the reducer and the initial state. After that, what I am going to do is do export const use state value. This will be used to get the user from the Redux. So use state value, and this is going to be use context of state context. After that, you can also close this file and then open the main index.js. Inside index.js, I have to do some couple of imports. So we want the reducer and initial state from reducer and initial state. After that, I want the state provider also. So from the state provider, I want state provider. After that, here when I am rendering the app, I am going to wrap that inside the state provider. So you can do state provider, you can do like this. And to the state provider, pass initial state of initial state and the reducer with the reducer. After that, you can close the index.js and finally go to the app. Inside app.js, I am going to import useState value. So inside state, I am exporting useState value. So I am going to do import useState value from the state provider. Then I am also going to import auth from Firebase. Now this is our local Firebase that we have made. And then after that, I am going to import the login component. I am going to make that component in a moment. So inside login, I can render the login component. Let me make that first, otherwise it will freak out with errors. So now I can save that. I can go here. Where is that budget app? Let us wait for it to happen. Reload. Till the time that's happening, let's use state value here. So const, then make sure that you use a array and inside destructured user, and then I also need the dispatch. This is equal to use state value. After that, I'm going to, so there is an error. So inside state provider.js, reducer is not defined. Reducer is not defined. State provider is reducer and use reducer to the reducer. And I am passing that at props, so this error should not come actually. Should cannot be called at the top level. Actually, I think I will have to restart the server. Most probably that will make it work. So here inside app.js, let's use a use effect hook inside. Make sure you have imported that also. So inside use effect, simply I am going to use auth dot on auth chain. I get the auth user, and if I get the auth user, then dispatch. Then what I'm going to dispatch is type of set user, and the user I'm going to give is the auth user. and after that I am going to do else. If I don't get any user, then let me duplicate this here and simply change the user to none. So here a problem is there, I think. So let's go to state provider. So I import React, create context and all from React. Then export const state context, it is create context. Then state provider, this is the reducer, initial state and the children. After that I render state context dot provider, value is use reducer and initial state. Inside the main index, did I do any mistake here? It is reducer. I am exporting also. If I go here, the state provider also, I am getting all of this. And right now, if I save, go here. Okay, now it is working. So there, that time there must be a problem. So now, what I can do is continue to the app. So inside the app.js, I am going to give it a dependency of dispatch also. So when the dispatch changes, then do the following. Now let's work on the login component. So inside the login component, what I am going to do is do some imports. So I want use state, use effect. Then I also want use history from React router DOM. Then I want use state value. I can copy all of that. I can import auth from my local Firebase. After that, I can make a function named login. Inside the function, I say const history is equal to use history. And then I am going to say const email set email is equal to use state empty string, and then const password and set password is also a use state of empty string. Then I am going to do a use effect, and use effect is going to do the following. If the user is there and still he is trying to access this route, so for that what I am going to do, if user is there, then history does push to the home page. And let me also grab the user from the use state value. After that, I'm going to make a function sign in. I get the event. I do event dot prevent default. Right now this must be fine. Then I can also do register, and inside this register I am also going to do event of prevent default. After that I am going to return a div with a class of container and margin top, sorry, here, so dot container, and these are all bootstrap classes actually. And inside that I am going to make a h1 with a class of h5, After that I am going to do sign in and sign up. Then I am going to add a line break and then make a form. I don't need action, I will be using on submit. Inside this I am going to make a label with the class of read, and it is simply going to say email. After that I am going to make input type of text, class of form control, value of email, and when the state changes, so on change you get the event and do a arrow function, inline function, and I set the email to e.target.value. After I have done that, simply what you can do is duplicate this label and the input. Simply change the email to password, value is going to be also password. After that, on chain set password to e.target.value. After this, add a line break. So inside the line break, after that I can make a button with a class of button, then button primary, and then margin right 5. This is going to say sign in, and when I click this button, so on click sign in. After that what you can do is simply duplicate that button, change this to button secondary. I don't need margin right 5. On click register, and this will say create a new account. Now you can go here. Okay, so import error. Okay, so let me also export default login, and now let's go to the login component. Okay, so I am getting this. After that, go to the ending of the form and then add a line break br. After that, make a p with the class of read and simply say, let's copy that text because that's a simple type of a policy, and save this. Now if I go here and enter my email and some password, oh sorry, and here let me change the input to type to password. Okay, after that if I sign in, nothing is about to going to happen right now. So right now first let's go to Firebase, go to authentication. Inside this click on get started, then click on sign in method, and where it says the first one email password, simply click on that and only enable the first one, not the second one. Okay, the first one, and click on save. After that you can simply come back here, and inside where it says sign in, I can do auth dot sign in with email and password, then pass the email and password which are in the state as the argument. Dot, then I get the auth, I do history dot push them to slash app. So after logged in, I can push them to app, and dot catch error. If there is any error during this process, then simply do alert of error dot message. After we have done that, simply go here, reload. Now let me do this. It says the password is invalid. I enter this. No user is there. So that means these messages are coming from Firebase, so we don't get to have any problem. After that, simply copy all of this inside the register also, and only the thing you have to do is change this from sign in to sign in with email and password to create user with email and password. And then where it says history dot push, I want to push them to the slash app, and I'm going to simply also say alert sign up success. Okay, so after I have done that, let's go here, reload the page. My email, I can, let's say, enter anything and anything here. It says the email is badly formatted. So now I can do this. I click on sign in. It says no user. But if I click on create a new account, it says sign up success. And I am redirected to the home page. And inside this Firebase, if I reload here, I get my email here. And I get all of these here which I wanted. So that means that I am signing in. Sign up is working perfectly fine and it's working. So now I can close the login component, go to the app component, and now let's work on the contact. So what I am going to do is inside the route path slash I want the header, then I want the home, and then so inside home only I am going to render that. So home, I am going to copy the name home. Inside this, import home from home. Inside source, make a home.js. You can do something like this here. And what I want to do is simply import also the contact component from slash contact. And I also want a typewriter, so let me copy that typewriter import from my app. So let's go here. Okay, so after that, simply what I can do is I am only going to return the code, so I can use these brackets, and inside this I am going to use fragments. Then a div with a class of jumbo drawer, text danger, h1, font weight bold, text center. These are all the classes I wanted, and simply I am going to render the typewriter component. This is going to be self-closing, and I am going to simply pass some options. So do options. So options. So the option I have to pass first saying string. String this is welcome to the budget app. After that I get auto start true, loop true. Save that. Oh, for now, let me first make a contact.js. Save that, close that. So I give this nice welcome to the budget app. So now I am going to render the contact component here. Nothing is showing because I am not returning anything from here except empty div. So after that I can close the home component and work on the app component. So to work on the contact component, What first we have to do is create a form. So inside this return, use a container and empty file, or it's better let's go to the login.js, copy everything, go here, paste. Now export default contact, function is also contact. Let me use const instead of that, like better. Inside state I don't want anything, but I want the history. I don't want the user. I don't want any use effect. I only want one function which is going to say send email, but let's now delete all the function. After that, inside h5 it is going to simply say contact form. Then form I am going to do on submit send email. Then send email. Then I'm going to make a dot form group which is a div and wrap each of the input there. So first it is going to say name. Oh, let me leave it as I will need that later on. So this is going to be name. After that, I don't want to give any value. I am going to simply say name is equal to name. So after that, I don't want this. This is required. So let me also do auto complete off. Okay, so auto complete is equal to off. After that, I get the email one. So it is email. I want auto. Let me copy all of these options here. Autocomplete is of type email name email class form control and required. After that I get the message. So this is message. This is going to be a text area. Text area also has this some options which I want to give it. So autocomplete of type text, name is going to be message, class form control required. Simply oh, here I don't want any type of text. Autocomplete off. I only want this text area. After that, I get two buttons, but I only need one. So this is going to simply say type of submit, and it will say submit. I don't need this read text. So this much is enough for our component. Let me get rid of imports that I don't need. Okay, so what I am going to do is first let's import that email.js. So import email.js from email.js here. Now go to the docs, email.js/docs. Go to the last and examples React. Inside this, copy this function you are getting as a demo. Okay. Now go to our email dashboard. First it says your service ID. So the service ID you are going to get from the email services, and this is Gmail. So I am going to say Gmail. Then the template ID. This one was that I made right now. So the template ID is that. Then user ID. User ID is that you are going to get inside interrogation. Copy the user ID, paste that here. Okay. So after that, you are done. This is what you needed. But the only thing I am going to change is use this history here. So when I get the response, after that history dot push to the slash. So now let's say I don't need this. If I go here reload and enter my name, my email address, message, I click on submit. I am already at the home page, so I don't see anything. But if I go to my mailbox, you can see I get this. Right now I have got 0 minutes ago. Name Shlokan, email demo@gmail.com, and this is a demo message. So after that, what I also want to do is, let's say if we could do a alert for something. So alert. Thanks for contacting us. So if I submit, and I did not get any. Okay, thanks for contacting us. And let me do window dot location dot reload. Now if I submit, thanks, okay, and the page reloads. So I don't need this history here. Let me get rid of that. And let me go to mailbox also, my mailbox. I must have got my emails, so I got all the emails. So now what I want to do is, I have set up the contact, the login, the register. After that I am going to make the navigation bar, which from header, which is the header. So I can, let's say, call it the header.js. Inside this I am going to add the basic snippets. Then I am going to do many imports. So let's say import link and use history from React router DOM. Then I want use state value, which I will get from the login. So copy paste. After that I am going to get the auth from the Firebase, and I am going to get the something from React Strap. So what you can do is go to reactstrap.github.io components/navbar. So inside the React Strap, you can see you get a lot of imports from React Strap. You can copy that, paste that here. Now I need collapse, navbar, navbar toggle, navbar brand, nav item, nav link. This I need all the things here. After that, let me delete return. Start with the user first. So const destructor from array user. This is a use state value. After that, const inside this. Let me, I think, paste this here only and copy this return. And here what I want is navbar. To the navbar I am going to give style of width of 100%, the color light, and then light expand empty. Here it is going to say budget app. Then after that Inside I get the collapse, and inside there is the first nav item. It is going to href to slash home page, and it is going to say home. After that nav item, what I am going to do is do some conditional rendering. So if the user is there, then render something here. Otherwise, render something else. Okay, so if the user is not there, then I simply want to render a link to slash login, and this will be a this navbar text. This navbar text is simply going to say sign in, and if the user is there, now here is the stuff I want to do. So first, let me cut all of this here, paste all of this here. Then I get a nav item. This is going to href to slash app, and this is going to say app. After that, nav item options, I want to say user.email. Then href, I get this a lot of drop down items, but I only want one of them, and this is going to say add expense, and this is going to be href to slash app. After that I get drop down item, and this is going to say on click handle authenticate, and this is going to say sign out. Now I have to make this handle authenticate, which will sign out the user. So after that, if I go here, okay, I'm not rendering that in the app. So import header from header, and I want to render the header component here, then here. Yes, this is fine. So if I now go here inside the home component, okay, it's compiling the code. So let it compile the code. Use state and handle authenticate. Okay, so I need use state, and then const handle authenticate. So for the handle authenticate, let me write that here only. If the user is there, then auth dot sign out. This is a from user, from Firebase only. And then I want to push the user to the slash history dot push slash. Now I'm going to use history like here. So const history is equal to use history. After that, if I go ahead and I get this here. Now I wanted that I get this full navbar at the right. So to get the navbar to the right side, what you have to do is inside the nav simply add ml and now you get this. First it was mr. Okay, so after we have done this, our header is finished, and if I go here and click on sign out, then you can see the user is gone. So now I have to again go back to my app component, and now finally the only thing left is this path slash app. So I want to display the header all the time, but now what I'm going to do is after the header, if the user is there, then what I want to do is add a br and then render the main component, and if the user is not there, then I am going to use the typewriter from the home which I have imported actually. We copy this, paste, and inside this simply I am going to say please sign in to get access to this page, and main component is not defined, that's obvious. So import the main component from main/main. So let me make that, make a folder main, then a main.js I have to make. So main.js. Okay, so now after you have done that, if I am signed out, so if I go to /app, it says please sign in, and what I am going to do is change this text danger to text info. So now it is looking better. Now sign in, I can sign in, I get the main component. Now the main thing we have to do is the main component only. So to work on the main component, what I'm going to do is inside the main.js, I'm going to close the app, go to the main.js, and inside this I'm going to first import use state, use effect, then I'm going to import from the React, then I'm going to import Jumbotron and container from React strap. So this is a container. Then I am going to import from import from component/form and import list from component/list. Then outside the main component, simply do const all expenses is equal to local storage dot get item by the name of expenses. If this is there, then JSON dot parse this only, otherwise empty array. After that I am going to make same expenses, set expenses is equal to use state of all expenses, which is value. Then I am going to say name, set name, then amount, set amount. Then I am going to add a use effect. It will run when the expense changes. Local storage will get item expenses, and JSON.stringify expenses. After that, const handle name, I get the event and set name to event dot target dot value. Now make a duplicate of it and call it handle amount, and inside this simply change the change to set amount. Okay, after that I am going to make handle submit form. So const, so the first, let's call it handle submit form. So const handle submit form, I get the event dot event default. If name is exclamation mark double equals to empty and the amount is greater than 0, then const expenses is equal to name. I'm going to pass destructure them like that, and then I'm going to set the expenses to the remain as it is and then add the expense there. So okay, let me call this expense actually, and after that set name to empty, set amount to empty. If this is not the then condition, then console log invalid expense name or the amount. Oh sorry, expense name or the amount. After that, const clear expenses. So const clear expenses, set expenses to an empty array. After that, when I am returning, I am going to return a container like this. Container class name of text center. Then I want a jumbotron with saying fluid. After that, I get a h3 with a class of display 6 and it will simply going to say budget app. After that, I am going to open a div without any class and then add a p tag, and inside p I am simply going to say sorry, so this is going to be a p tag. Now I am going to say total expense, and then I am going to make a span with a class of text success. This is going to say simply I am going to do expenses dot reduce. I get the accumulator and the current value. I return accumulator plus equals to, then I am going to use the parse int current value dot amount. Then I am going to also pass 0 like that. After the span, I can go out of the div and render my form component, and I am going to pass some value. So name is name, amount is amount, handle name is handle name, then handle amount is handle amount. Then I have this handle submit form. So handle submit form is handle submit form, and handle clear expenses. Okay, so let me call that handle clear expense. This is going to be like this. After the form tag, simply I am going to render the list saying passing the expenses to the expenses like that. After that, inside main, let me make folder name components. Then I want to create a file called form.js and one called the list.js. So list.js. I add the RC h1 list. I get expenses. Let me close that for now. And inside this, what I'm going to do is first add the prop that I'm going to get. So inside the form, I'm going to get a lot of props. So I get the name, amount, sorry, amount, handle name, handle amount. Then I also get handle submit form and handle clear expense. And inside this I'm simply just going to return. Now from React strap I'm going to import something. So let me go to components slash form. Inside the form, let me copy the imports here. Now what I'm going to do is first do import form as the BT form. Then I go form group, input, label, button and call. So button and a call. After that, here I'm going to do a BT form, style of margin 10, on submit, handle submit form. Then I get a form group. Inside form group, I am going to give that okay, let me do form group with a class of row, and after that I make a label. I'll say for example email and small 2. After this is going to say name of expense, so after that I'm going to use a call saying sm4. This is going to have a input field, and to the input field I am simply going to say type text name, id, expense name, autocomplete is off, placeholder is name of expense, value is name, on chain, handle name, and close that. After that, what you do is first let me add this form group closing here, and then make a same duplicate of that, and label for remain as it is. Simply here say rupees amount. Inside input, change the type to number, autocomplete is off, name is the amount, id expense amount, placeholder 0.00, value is the amount, and on chain handle amount. After that, we go outside the form group, add a button, same with type of submit and color of primary. It will say add. Make a duplicate of it. Next one will say delete. And on the add one, so delete one, simply do on click, handle, clear expenses. So after that, I can go here. It will obviously give an error. Oh, this is not nice. Why am I getting this error? Expected no unused expressions. So let me use the function instead of main. Maybe that will fix my problem. No, that did not actually. Okay, let me call that the main component. That was my mistake. Let me now use const only. Now, if I reload here, and let me also check the app component. So I am importing that from /main, then main.js. Now let me simply do import from main and change the name to index.js. I am only having one file. Main component, inside app, I am going to say import from the main component. So actually we should not get this problem that we are getting right now. So let me go here. Go here. Inside the main.js, let me okay, so the problem is not here. Inside list, maybe the problem is there. And inside list, I am pasting the code because this is simply the I am mapping expenses.map. Let me leave it as main.js and main component from main. Okay, so right now no such directory. Okay, now So am I rendering that the right way? Main component, main source app. This is the app component. Assignment of function from show and expression only. I am returning it. I am using function that will be better maybe. Import, export, default. Now you get this. Okay, now I am getting the thing I wanted. Now inside this components form, simply now I get this. Now what, let me show you something. If I go to application local storage here, I have expenses with empty array. But let's say if I say laptop buying is the title and the amount is 1000 rupees. I add and you can see I get everything. I also get it here. And if I add empty, I am not getting anything. If I delete, then it deletes from here. I can sign out, I can sign in. Now that means that our application is perfectly ready. Now the only thing we have to do is that we simply have to deploy the app. So to deploy the app, what you have to do is first close this and do npm run build. You can also close the Firebase console. Simply run npm run build, and what is going to do is build a static build export of the React app that we made. And till the time that's happening, make sure that you have Firebase login you have done. So do Firebase login, and what it will do is open your browser and ask you to log in as from your Gmail ID, which is associated with Firebase. And I'm already logged in, so it is showing that. So it is creating an optimized production build. So let it happen. Done. Now this has done. Now the only thing left is we have to do Firebase. First we have to start with Firebase init. Inside Firebase init, it will ask a lot of questions. So first, use arrow keys to go to hosting and press the space bar. Then press enter. Then select use an existing project and enter. Then select the app. This is budget app IT. Enter. And this is very important. Here simply type the build. So if I type build and press enter, now you can do Y here. Automatic deploy is no, I don't need that. I can simply just press enter here. And after that you have done all of this you needed, simply type Firebase deploy, and this is the last step of this video. As soon as I press enter, you can see it says deploying to budget app YT, and this is happening. Let us wait for this to happen fast. You can see now it is deployed, and as soon as I open the URL, you can see I get the working budget app. I hope this live stream was helpful to you to make this amazing budget app with sign in, sign up using Firebase as a backend, then also using local storage. If this stream was helpful, then make sure to like this video, subscribe our channel, and share this live stream with your friends and family. Thanks for watching.